Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, subscribers, unsubscribers, or just random viewers, and welcome to my lovely humble abode, my first episode in the upcoming and to-be-long series, Fight. Yes, it's really that simple. I don't like it either, but I could have used the whole "It's time to do!" But I digress. I know you clicked on this video for a reason, to hear my candid and refurbished opinion on EA. Now, before I venture any further, let me be clear on one thing. A lot has happened since my last video on EA, which I admit was poorly done and badly organized. I'll link it in the description and add an annotation here if you are interested. However, that doesn't mean that everything I said in that video is in some way outdated in terms of my views on EA. I still believe EA is the money-grubbing corporate scumbags that they have always been. Now, let's get started. As I said, a lot has transpired from EA since my last video on them. For instance, the sudden announcement of Battlefront 2. And if anyone is interested in my opinion on it, I'm excited. However, and a massive, huge, long, thick however, I have one massive concern. It is microtransactions. Now, as someone who has delved himself into playing a good amount of Overwatch and other games that feature only cosmetics to purchase with real money, this is troubling news, because the microtransactions in Battlefront 2 are, well, in a way, pay to win, in a sense that it is half-assed on star cards, because the one side of the coin states that you can earn these by playing the game, while the other side says that you can also pay for them with real money. You could also pay for them with in-game currency, which is the credits. But again, you know, with the feature where you can actually pay with it for real money, it makes pay to win halfway true to its full form in Battlefront 2. There's no getting around that. On a side note, I must give credit where credit is due, because a lot of games are doing this now to where you can still earn these star cards, crates, etc. by just playing the game. Yet, those that want to get quote-unquote ahead of the game can purchase these star card packs with real money. And that's where pay to win comes in. It's essentially a cheap shortcut to success. Here, I'll showcase some clips from Stone Mountain 64 and Battlefront updates that covered this a few weeks back.
As you can see, when you open up the crate, you can also click on the star card and read some more information. And if you look on the right, you can see how the effect of the star card differs depending on which rarity it is of. And I will have a separate video where I will show you some gameplay examples of how a common card compares to an epic card and so on. The star cards come in 4 main rarities: common, uncommon, rare, and epic. But there are also legendary star cards that are super rare.
The star cards go even deeper though, with each of them having 4 different tiers. Starting with the common white card, this will have the lowest level of stats. It then goes uncommon in green, rare in blue, and epic in purple, with each tier reflecting a corresponding adjustment in power level. As it goes up in tier, you'll see a better effect of whatever that card is doing, whether it's a wider radius effect, faster cooldown time, higher damage, etc. Besides the class-specific star cards, they're also introducing them to the heroes, each hero having their own specific set of cards. And just like the cards for the classes, these will each have 4 different tiers of quality to them. The key difference, though, is the hero star cards are modifying the abilities rather than completely changing what they are.
So, as you can tell, a lot of the star cards here are in depth, much more so than the ones in Battlefront 1 EA by a long shot. The first layer of star cards is its numbers. I'm sure there are a lot more than there are presented here in Alpha, but I guarantee you that we're only seeing a handful, the tip of the iceberg, just like their weapons. The second layer is the color coding of these cards. Common is white, uncommon is green, rare is blue, and epic is purple. These colors correspond with the effectiveness of the card itself, whether it pertains to a wider blast radius, increased damage, lower cooldown time, etc. Do you see how this could become a problem if a lot of people just say fuck it and decide to throw their money into the gutter just to acquire these things on the first day? And believe me, those types of people exist. There's a lot of them, which is partly why EA is making so much money along with their greedy video game publishers. Now, don't get me wrong here. I don't want Battlefront 2 to suck. I really don't. I've spent maybe over 200 hours on the original Battlefront 2 on Steam, and I'd like to see something fresh and new in the Battlefront franchise. Everything in this Battlefront looks fresh and exciting, and I can't wait to try it out in the open beta. But this is a bad start in my opinion, and I hope DICE can find some way to make this not as worrisome as it looks. Now, I'm absolutely positive no one knows except a few of my friends on Steam that I've been using Origin for a while now. You know, the PC client digital video game manufacturer made and funded by EA. Made and funded by EA. Oh shit, I've been exposed. Oh no. The same dude that hates EA uses a service made by EA to buy games from EA. Oh gosh. The fucking horror. But on a serious side note, I make this its own segment because 1, I made a statement on my first rant on EA which went a little something like this. All I can ask is don't buy their games. Head to their Twitter or whatever social media sites they lure on and tell them why they need to stop this. Yet, I've done this. Now granted, I've only gotten 3 on Origin and a handful of EA games on Steam, and maybe some of the Mass Effect 3 DLC.
I should go.
I know, I didn't practice what I preached, and some of the games from my Steam that were from EA were purchased long ago. However, I guarantee you 100% that I will not give in to buying another EA published game unless it is Battlefront 2, if it's good. Now the second reason I made this its own segment is because of the sales, or lack thereof. Seriously, I haven't found one good sale from Origin in months. I've rarely found any. There wasn't ever a summer sale. Funny enough, there really should have been one, but there wasn't one. Like a full-on summer sale, there was not one at all. I was very disappointed. But really, what bothered me the most was EA forcing BioWare to add in BioWare points to buy the DLC for the Mass Effect games. These points never go on sale, ever. It has never happened. You could say that the way a lot of these games that barely go on sale are able to be played for free and even garner a lower price is if I sign up for EA Access. First of all, go fuck yourself. I'm not wasting $5 a month to play games that I may or may not enjoy nor play on a daily basis, and I'm not wasting $30 as well. This tactic is ridiculous. Steam doesn't allow this. I mean, for fuck's sake, not even Blizzard allows this. You have Overwatch. You don't need a paid subscription to play that. You got fucking Diablo 3. You don't need a paid subscription to play that. You have StarCraft 2, 1, 3, 28. You don't need a subscription to pay for that shit. You don't need to pay daily to play those games. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid. You could make the argument that, oh, you gotta pay the subscription to play all these great games. But again, back to what I said earlier. I'm not wasting $5 a month to play games that I may or may not enjoy nor play on a daily basis. I may fucking just get the fucking subscription paid to enjoy one game, 1 or 2 or 3 games that I like. So therefore I just not only wasted $5, but there's 3 games that I'd want now. It's fucking stupid. I don't like it. I hate paid subscriptions to play multiple games. I never loved those things. They're so stupid. So back to what I was saying. Steam has you sign up and buy a game in there. That's simple. And hell, you may even get a good sale on the game as well. I mean, for fuck's sake, there are CD key websites that give better deals on Origin-powered games than Origin itself could ever give. The third reason is that I plan on making a GMV for each of these games that I have, and maybe Battlefront 2 if it turns out to be a good game. EA Play, oh how much of a laughingstock you've become this year. Come on guys, you can do better than this. The internet really torn you a new asshole. I mean, this is fucking crazy. You got this fucking weirdo YouTuber, nobody knows who the fuck this dumbass is, but then you got these guys who can't even high five. I mean, for fuck's sake, these 3 guys are literally socially awkward as shit. They don't know how to fucking communicate with people. And, you know, it just gets worse overall through this show. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know who plans this stuff. It's so dumb. But come on, EA. Quit pandering to weird shit like this and just give us the game. We understand. We really do. You want us to be hyped for the game. But just giving us the trailer alone will do that for us. Just add in a little nice speech for the game and then launch the trailer and bam. None of this cringy shit. Please, just stop. Alright? So this topic here is a little touchy because the main reason why it's running so rampant today is because of the gaming community. You could technically say it's EA's fault, or so on for this abomination. But the root of the problem with pre-orders fall into the hands of the gaming community. Now granted, obviously, not all gamers pre-order, and thank God for that. However, as I stated in my Battlefront 2 segment regarding star cards and microtransactions, there are people out there that can't fathom waiting for their hyped game to come out and see the reviews, and blindly run into the fire. And now, I'm not going to say I'm some fucking saint on this topic and claim that I've never partaken in these nefarious business practices, because I have. Emphasis on have, because the last game I pre-ordered was Fallout 4, and that was the biggest mistake in gaming that I have ever made. The hype for Fallout 4 blinded me from the skepticisms of the game itself, which means that I'm at fault for pre-ordering, no one else. Yet, the pre-order situation today can be taken as a form of a business cycle, a flow cycle so to speak. You see, it's all about supply and demand. The demand is the amount of gamers that demand pre-orders, which can branch out into pre-order bonuses, whether digital or physical or both. The supply is the resources that these game companies would have to dish out in order to make these pre-order bonuses. All this at the end of the day will produce the outcome of currency for these companies that will outweigh the cost of producing these pre-order bonuses. You can imagine, alright, you can imagine the margin being huge, where companies would receive a lot more money from the pre-order sales than making the pre-order bonuses. In retrospect, it's a genius business strategy, and as someone who has recently been in studies of business and so on, I have to give credit where credit is due, even if I state that it is a scummy practice. Pre-orders, in my opinion, are used to take advantage of the more fortunate audience that can dish out more money than most other people, and are gullible enough to buy them in the first place. I'm not here to dictate on how to spend your money. I'm in no authority to say so. However, we should look at all aspects of pre-ordering and fix the problem in our community and not just slam video game companies that partake in them.
We know it! We're breaking the conditioning! Ah! Ah! We're coming for you! Ah! Coming for you! Coming for you!
DLC has been a feature that has been around in the gaming domain since even before the internet, which were dubbed expansions and were added to tabletop Dungeons and Dragons style type games way back in the day. Yet, even though pre-orders can be at fault from a specific amount of gamers, so can DLCs, as many gamers will want more from their favorite games sooner on to further extend the lifespan of said game. This situation is also dubbed as supply and demand in business language. There are two types of DLCs that I categorized myself. One is expansions, which add a considerable amount of content to the game, which I really have no problem with so long as the quality and quantity is compatible to the price of the expansion itself. Two is digital goods and services. These can range from useless skins on various pieces to very overpowered weapons and armor that can change the tide of a match simply because you could only have acquired it by buying the DLC that had it. The problem with this is that people will be willing to take the shortcut to get these pieces by paying real money, which will greatly annoy the player base and cause some issues along the way. Season passes are thankfully an entity that is dying off as far as I'm concerned. There are many companies that used this feature by testing the player's patience in a way. It's a gamble. You either wait for all the DLC to come out and buy them all at once, because you managed to review each one at a time and fully determine your decision on buying them. Or, you buy the season pass straight up and take all the DLC that comes out freely without a fucking thought in your head and wondering, is it good DLC or is it bad DLC? And buying the season pass itself would also be a massive risk because you wouldn't know if the DLC that would come out of it would be satisfactory to your expectations. EA had this issue as well, especially with Battlefront 1. They wouldn't give the audience details on what the season pass had to offer for almost a year since its announcement. They just launched it because they knew dumbasses would buy the season pass. Speaking of which, I have to give thanks to DICE to ditching the Season Pass for Battlefront 2 and recognizing its crippling effect on the player base. It would split it in half and the game would crumble slowly as a result. And on top of that, they decided to add free DLC, which is very commendable. I thank you very much, DICE. You've done something not many companies have the balls to do anyways, so I thank you for that. Thank you. All in all, the gaming industry today is slowly ascending from this dark age, in contrast to what I said months ago in this issue. Let's hope we get to see more good work being done in the gaming industry than bad. So, this was the first official episode for my series Fight. I hope you enjoyed the quality that was delivered from this episode, and I'd love to receive some feedback as a result. Positive or negative, I will look it over. Thank you all for watching, and I will meet you in the next episode. Valekren out.